Behind me is where we used to have our dinette before we remodeled this place, ripped that out, and replaced it with a beanbag. And after full-time living in an RV for quite a few months, I don't regret the decision at all. I would say we use this corner probably more than any other place in our RV. So if you have an RV that you use either part-time to go camping in or full-time like us to live in, these are all the reasons why I'm so glad we ripped out our dinette and just put a beanbag chair instead. When deciding how I wanted to decorate this space, coziness was my #1 priority, and that dinette wasn't comfortable to sit in at all. It had the most basic padded seats and the backs didn't go up very high, so it was really just kind of hitting you in the middle of the back. So because coziness is a priority of ours and I feel like the dinette completely went against that, that's one reason why we got rid of it. The next reason being, and maybe this is just specific for us and not everybody, but we easily collect clutter. If there is a surface available in our home, it could be a coffee table, it could be a countertop, our dressers, even our trash can has a lid on top of it, and anywhere there is a space to set things, we will collect clutter. In the home that we were living in before we moved full-time into this RV, we had a dining room table. Did we eat at that dining room table? No. But did it collect clutter? Yes. It was just a pile of mess. And on top of that, having a cluttery space just never feels clean. And there's something to be said about, one, enjoying the environment that you're in, and two, if you are in a messy environment, a lot of the times that's reflective of your mind, having like a messy mind. And so I try my best to keep everything nice and clean and pristine. Also, kind of riffing off that last point, we just never used our dining room table. One, because it was covered in crap, but two, we just never did. I think it was just more comfortable for us to eat our dinners on the couch. Now, I don't know how that'll change now that we have a little one. Right now she's still breastfeeding, but once she gets older, I know that it's kind of convenient to have those little chairs that you set on top of the table for them to sit in, or a place to scoot their high chair up to so that when they are eating foods, they have a table. But right now that doesn't fit our lifestyle and we never would have ate at the table anyways. Another reason why I want to get rid of it and replace it with a beanbag chair is part of the designing process that I had when we remodeled this RV. I just liked how it looked. Beyond functionality, beyond keeping this place clean, beyond how freaking cozy a beanbag chair is, which I'll get into in a little bit on why we specifically chose a beanbag for this space, it honestly just makes the space feel more open. And when you're living in an RV, it's a small space. I can hear some people now saying, one, when you remove a dinette, you're losing a ton of storage, which is unfortunate, and two, you're losing another potential bed. And to that I say, yes, you are losing a lot of storage, and there's honestly no way around it. I don't have a solution to the lost space. What I will say is I didn't feel like we needed that space. My husband and I also have a storage unit. We have those black totes with the yellow lids that you can get at like Home Depot or Costco, and we'll put a lot of stuff in those and then store them either underneath the RV or in a shed or something. You are losing storage space, and that I think is probably the one and only valid con to removing your dinette that does not have a rebuttal. Everything else though has a rebuttal. For instance, losing the bed portion of a dinette. Y'all, this beanbag chair is way, way, way more comfortable to sleep on than a dinette ever would have been. It's not uncommon for there to be a pillow just kind of always on the beanbag and a blanket. I'll snuggle up there to watch a movie. I've slept there overnight. I've taken naps there. So if you're worried about losing a bed, don't be. This thing is great. So now you know why we removed the dinette, the pros to doing it, the space that's opened up, how cozy it is. Now we no longer have a clutter collector, right? It's a really good decision, at least for us it was. But why did we remove it and replace that space with a beanbag? Why not do a desk or a couch or buy nice furniture? We opted out of a couch for one, cost, and two, weight reasons. When you're thinking about putting things in an RV, obviously we're stationary right now, but if we ever were to drive it places, weight is a pretty big factor, especially if your truck can only pull so much. And while the dinette did weigh something, it wasn't a lot, so I didn't want to throw in a couch in here and kind of skew the numbers as to how much this weighed. The beanbag chair is kind of heavy. In fact, we have to fluff it every few days just because it kind of gets flat, so we poof it back up again. So I'm very familiar with how heavy it is because I have to pick it up and kind of shake it out every time. But it's not bad at all, and it's nowhere near how heavy it would be to move a couch around. We didn't do a desk. I think this is pretty self-explanatory, at least to my previous point with the table, because I don't want clutter. And I didn't leave it empty because I knew I wanted comfortable seating. Throughout the remodel of this RV, I already had removed one of the two chairs that it came with. I didn't also want to remove the dinette and leave us with pretty few spaces for seating. Now, when I thought of beanbags, I used to never think of things like this. I always thought of the really small ones that a lot of times would be in like libraries or kids' classrooms that were just really petite and small, and you just could only really fit your butt on it and nothing really else. Until I went to some family members' houses who had remodeled their basement and gotten a couple of these. It's from the brand ultimate sack. They had remodeled their basement and made it like a cozy movie room. So they had one of these, which is really big, and then there's an even bigger one that's longer that fits multiple people. Now this one you can squeeze multiple people on, but they have some that are made to seat people together. They're huge. It's a purchase I had wanted to make for over a year, and then finally the opportunity arose where we could rip out the dinette, put something cozier in its place, and voila. Good job! You pooped! You pooped! Yeah? Good job, my love.